University of Pennsylvania, you're in Philadelphia. University of Pennsylvania, does that naturally follow?
Well, yes and no. Working for the University of Pennsylvania, working for the University of Pennsylvania was, you asked me about people who have been influential in my life, and I named my parents. Let me name the other people. Dr. Charles Ray at North Carolina Central, Dr. Helen Edmonds at North Carolina Central, and the man who is now Ambassador Horace Dawson, who was the advisor to the newspaper at North Carolina Central. In Philadelphia, and for the rest of my life, Dr. Howard Mitchell, who was, at the time that I went to work for the Gray Areas Project, the deputy director. Sam Dash, the lawyer who, Sam was the director, and Howard Mitchell was the deputy director. And I came on as initially a planner and then became assistant associate director. Howard Mitchell then went back to the University of Pennsylvania because he was a tenured professor there. He was doing this because he was such a brilliant man. And I worked around Philadelphia for a while, but then I have always wanted to reflect on what I've done. And I worked for PCCA, and then I went to work for for Model Cities. Then it had morphed into Model Cities. And I did that troubleshooting. I really was hired by Washington. I wasn't hired by a regional office in Philadelphia. And I was sent to troubled cities to try to make them do right. It was really hilarious. Here I am, some 20-some-year-old kid, going out to Chicago, being sent to Chicago to help Mayor Daley write a proposal that would yield him a $5 million planning grant so that he could get a $25 million grant to do Model Cities in Chicago. I was one of 5 people. It was just really uncanny because I had never been to Chicago before. And I certainly, when I think about it, I think I did a good job, but it was really strange to be a young person writing programs for a city of which you are not a resident, in a hotel room for 2 weeks and having your meal, so it was like you were a prisoner. They'd bring you your food and whatever else you needed. So anyway, I had gotten tired of those kinds of things, and I wanted to reflect. I wanted to do some research again. I had done some research at the Wharton Center. One of my mentors was Claudia Grant, social worker, the Wharton Center, and the other I should mention was Bill Meek. I think you may know Bill Meek, real civil rights activist.
Yeah, I think so.
Bill and his wife Sylvia, both of whom are no longer living. That's sort of the core of people who made me who I am. And I say to them, Howard died last year, but I would say to them, you know, you're responsible for the kind of person I've become, because both Howard Mitchell and Bill Meek were very active feminists. And they took the same position my father had taken. Look, if you've got the skills and you've got the courage, do it. Nobody should stop you from doing it because you're a woman. And I would tell them, well, you know, when people come and complain to you about how difficult I am, you just take responsibility for it because it's your fault. Anyway, Howard was back at Penn. And I called them up and I said, you know, I really need to get out of this. I really need to do some research. What's over there? He said, my Human Resources Center here in the Wharton School. Come over here and do some research with me. I said, well, I sort of want to work on my PhD. He said, fine, I'll be chair of your committee. Come on over, let's get you going. So I was there. I finished my work. I finished my coursework, finished my prelims, and designed a dissertation, which I didn't do. I did a different dissertation. Before I left Penn, I went to Penn in 1970, and I was there working with Howard at the Human Resources Center and teaching in the City and Regional Planning Department and taking courses.